Hello and welcome back to Podcasting as Praxis. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Jamie, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm Rob, mine are he and him.
And I'm Alistair, my pronouns are also he and him. And that is the train going past.
What timing.
Yeah.
In a functioning country, we'd have known not to do the intro just at that moment, but we don't live in one of those, so... Womp, womp.
Well, it's not like there's a... like a pattern that these trains follow that can easily, predictably indicate when a train will be in any given location. So, you just have to wing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we wait for next week when we record, it'll be the replacement bus service, just rumbling underneath your window.
Replacement bus service is a phrase that will just strike fear into the heart of anyone that's been out anywhere at night in London.
Yeah. The fun thing about a replacement bus service, though, is that they never check your ticket.
That's true. Hot tip from this podcast, you can just take the replacement bus anywhere.
You can just walk on. No one cares.
Getting on the replacement bus service for fun.
Also, if you take you can pop the security tags off the booze really easily.
I don't know if we can do that one.
I think we can.
I don't know. Probably.
I love that whenever I say something highly illegal, Rob's just there in fucking, do you know what I mean, in the neutral zone going, yeah, that's fine to me.
Well, it is fine to me, and I should be listened to.
Decloaking to fire a fucking legal issue straight at the podcast.
I am a man with no income and fine taste.
Oh fuck. Right, okay. Let's do some fucking notes.
Yeah, right. So, first up, we have an exciting new development in the world of tech, and that is that a new app has been released that lets you hire goons for personal defense.
Oh, right, okay. Any animus that may have brought this about?
I couldn't say.
But I could always hire, goons for individual projects on the SR forums. That's
oh.
Yeah,
standing outside a hotel in New York, reaching out my hand and just saying, they're afraid.
Described as Uber for bodyguards, Protector. I know that's quite a phrase, isn't it?
How else do they get places?
I was going to say it's Uber for bodyguards. Is it? Are you sure it's not Uber by bodyguards?
It's
that
Uber
makes,
by bodyguards for bodyguards.
Yeah,
it's the fake milk of transport solutions.
Look, right, it wasn't me that described it, so you know what I mean. I am quoting some fucking dipshit here.
You are on the podcast that, but will by any means necessary shoot the messenger.
Yeah. Protector, that's the name of the app, lets you hire personal security in New York City and Los Angeles from a pool of ex-cops and military and other assorted
yes,
dipshit.
the two cities in London.
Yeah.
But why, look, I know it's just because people have convinced themselves that crime is everywhere and they're waiting for people to murder you. But is this really such a problem, or are they just deathly afraid of getting Luigi'd? Which,
is that?
Yeah.
I think this has been in the works for a while, because the company also has an app, Patrol, which I think I remember hearing about a while ago, and that lets you and your neighbours crowdfund private security patrols to protect you from unnamed evils.
Oh wow, they've reinvented the police.
Yeah, basically. It's founded by Nick Sarath, who is some tech dipshit who joined Facebook at 18 and then to work on their MK team. I have no idea what the fuck that is.
MK
whether
Ultra.
It's Ultra or not. Yeah.
I was going to say it's Facebook's mind control team.
If you Google Meta MK team, you get a bunch of solid character picks for Mortal Kombat. So that wasn't really much help. And if you Google Facebook...
Do the Mortal Kombat characters also sit around in an empty gymnasium and talk about the death of their love life?
Quite
it's
possibly.
Just Scorpion sitting there, I've been ghosted for the 17th time.
It only became a viable game since they've added legs.
Yeah.
Giving Scorpion acid with the power of an app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
poor Liu Kang tried to do bicycle kicks, but without legs. It was just kind of sad and floppy.
Yeah, it's $200 an hour for one protector and a driver. I love the way they call them. They call each of the agents a protector. It makes it sound like fucking gladiators or something. I wonder if they've all got like cool names, like Knife and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
hostage killer and things of this nature.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly, these people, can't help themselves. They'll just, they have like an earpiece or something, and they'll just be constant, being like, "Knife, this is variable over."
Yeah.
Like, undoubtedly, it has
call
to be
signs.
like that.
That's what they call it when the army does
Call
that
signs,
shit,
yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah, call signs. So you $200 an hour for one protector and a driver, and
What if your
presumably a
name's
car.
Johnny?
Your call sign is 5 aces, and it makes sense.
But yeah, quoting the New York Post, the price can skyrocket depending on the client's mission and whether additional security, a full motorcade, or other specialized measures are necessary, said Sarath, 25. I just love that they charge extra for ocular pat downs.
But like, what are we talking about? Like additional security, or what the fuck are specialized missions? It's like, I want to pick up my child from daycare, but I really need a couple of snipers on the roof before I go.
That's the thing that cracks me up, because like the article was talking about how they gave a free trial to a couple of influencers last week. So a couple of like girls flew in from somewhere, and their team of protectors picked them up from like the airport in like New Jersey and drove them into the city, and they felt very safe, and they posed for photographs with them and so on. And like, but presumably the mission is just following some like rich prick around and making sure they don't get shot.
It's a special mission if they have to go through Little Italy.
But yeah, like, I mean, depending on the mission, I mean, can you hire them to do bank jobs and stuff like that? Because that'd be cool. Like, assuming they let you pay after a successful op.
I just really like the idea of no headshots or your money back.
Yeah, I'm only accepting protectors who have achieved a silent assassin on previous missions.
Yeah, they charge extra for no scopes.
Yeah, I've just went to find a picture of this guy, and his code name is absolutely Pocket.
Yeah, like I said, they've got another app that lets you do neighborhood watch, but with crowdfunding for like a car full of armed goons to come by every 20 minutes and chase away like the nefarious youths who are like fucking, smoking the old devil's lettuce on the street corner again or something and making your child's bedroom smell funny.
At least this explains why they're in LA. Like, if they shortly open, privatized fire services again, then you can hire fucking gladiators to guard your back while, your privatized fucking fire service puts out or doesn't put out the fire, depending on your whims. And then you really are back in Rome. It's incredible shit.
Yeah. But yeah, the job the guy had between Facebook and like rentaspook.com was paparazzi, right? Which was
this sounds delightful.
Yeah,
taking pictures of Funko Pops.
A fucking horrendous sounding app. It was basically Instagram, but you were only allowed to take photos of other people.
What?
Excuse me?
Whoa.
Yeah, they shut that down, surprisingly.
On account of hundreds of thousands of lawsuits, or
if this isn't illegal, it fucking should be.
Apparently, it was only the 11th or 12th most highly profitable app from the fucking like dickhead pool that spawned it or something. I can't remember what they call it. When they have there's some fucking business speak term for like when they get a bunch of fucking app dipshits together and have them all do a game jam for fuckwits, basically.
Connive.
Yeah, something like that. But they did some kind of like, cuddle puddle or whatever. And this was like, this app, despite having like 5 million users, was only the 11th most profitable. So they just binned it off. But
Good.
Supposedly the idea was if you were taking photos of other people instead of yourself, the photos would look less processed. You wouldn't spend as much time like getting them perfect. You would just snap a picture of someone else and then upload it. So I suspect they were trying to train an AI on it or some shit like that. You know what I mean?
Probably.
We love the Creepshot app.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the guy that guy, you can now fucking, you know what I mean? You can now trust him to, like, send a couple of ex-cops to not shoot you while trying to fucking protect you from snipers or whatever.
Excellent.
Yeah. So that's the Hired Goons app. I hope you all enjoyed that. They're available for weddings,
Jesus
probably.
fucking Christ. Like, you know, we're just back in the age of privatized militias in, like, major urban areas. It's
it's literally the Pinkertons app. Yeah.
Yeah. It's great. You know, I remember that the era which the Pinkertons were, you know, mostly used was really good for, like, labor and other conditions. I remember that, you know, from reading about anything about it.
Yeah. They love to go along and, like, support a strike, as I recall.
Mm-hmm. Mere days away from the manosphere pivoting to be like the fucking, I don't know, just a place where they can all call themselves fucking Praetor or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, just, what if we could actually return with a V? Why not? Okay, sound.
You could just call yourself a Praetor. It was an elected position. You had to, like, run for it. And remember, yeah.
It doesn't matter, Rob. It doesn't matter. Facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Okay, on to Goons.
I love the idea of ancient Rome, but with, like, fucking with apps. That just sounds mint. It sounds like so perfect. I'm going to start an app where you can hire barbarians.
Rome didn't have Motorola razors, fuckwit. Right, okay.
That would be incredible, though. An app where you could hire Ostrogoths to come pillage the temples.
Right. Closer to home now.
A 0-hour Ostrogoth.
Fuck off, Rob.
An app where you could hire goths would probably do numbers, though.
Okay, would you like to hear about the results of a new poll?
No.
Yes, by God.
Government approval is at a whopping 14%. Which,
but I don't get it. There was a whole speech. We were going to do growth. I'd assumed that...
Is disapproval at 88%?
68% actually. Any other leader would be 20 points ahead.
I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait until, like, Labour's response to this is to just, you know what I mean, start handing out fucking red armbands or something.
I mean,
like,
you will need to pay for them, obviously.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
I mean, they're already gearing up for, what is it? They're, you know, softening the earth for, like, cuts to all unprotected departments or whatever, floating 11% cuts, and then floating increases to income tax, which is just like, yeah, this shotgun sounds great. Oh, let me just check the barrel and then just shooting your face clean off.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we need that extra defense spending though, because, like, you know, if we don't have two more Ajaxes,
we'll get there.
The Russians will kill us in our sleep.
Yeah, we'll get.
Stop mowing the grass in front of my feet. For fuck's sake.
He's just trying to fucking fast forward through talking about this poll, this wonderful poll. Net approval for Starmer -40. Net approval for Boris Johnson, -40.
It is incredible how.
I'm sorry.
How...
Net approval for who?
Yeah, Boris Johnson. I don't know why they ask people either.
What?
Oh, yes. I could answer that. It's because there was an article in the must have been the Telegraph. I think it was the Telegraph last week that apparently Boris Johnson, is not impressed with Kemi Badenoch, which, you know, fair, who is, and that he was considering a return to frontline politics.
Oh, hurrah!
Yeah, do it.
Do you know what I mean? Can he not just?
I mean, well, can we
not just
open that out?
That's a different.
Can I offer a cash reward?
Can I offer a cash? Can I offer a cash reward to the editor to keep this in?
Oh dear. Yeah. Oh, it should also be worth noting, by the way, that approval rating of 14% for the government. When YouGov last did one of these before the election, the Tories, the current government at the time, was at minus 15. So
fuck me.
No, sorry, not minus 15. They were at 15. So Labour's actually doing worse now than the Tories.
Less popular now than like Rishi Sunak at the fag end of that, like whatever the fuck that was.
How's Paul Mason taking the news?
Hell.
What was
just wait. Stop baiting Rob.
Yeah, stop fucking mowing the grass.
Okay, I'm sorry I mentioned Paul Mason again.
Well, I mean, in general, that's
how are Thames Water taking the news?
Minus 40 is really bad, obviously, for Starmer, but it could be worse. It could be Rachel Reeves, who is at minus 45. A net of minus 45 approval is fucking amazing.
It is incredible, though, because clearly the fucking hunting season has opened, because even the BBC put out a big piece saying, actually, she may have done some more lying on her CV. Oh, yes. And by the way, she was probably also investigated, like, by the bank that she, lied about her position at, for, like, her and two other people possibly, allegedly conspiring to, like, buy each other extravagant gifts with, like, company credit cards. Just,
I mean, friend of the show, Sinner, made the very obvious point that, like, anyone who has ever sat down for, like, anti-corruption training at work at your boring spreadsheet job has it drilled into their head that if you accept a pen from a client or like another business, this could be construed as a corrupting influence. And yet, it turns out if you buy fucking handbags, allegedly, on the company credit card, that just means that you can eventually become the Chancellor. So,
yeah, but that's fine because you buy for other people inside the company, so it's not corruption.
Because, as we know, if you write down your crimes in the big book of crimes that you've committed, then that makes it fine. And that's how government avoids any corruption. But like the fact that all of a sudden we're allowed to like notice this stuff because a couple of weeks ago it was that shit about her CV and now it's like the CV again and this like what is I'm gonna assume is like probably just like ticky tacky whatever, like you bought 40 quid too much candy with the company credit card. I don't give a shit fundamentally about that, but like it is a pattern because then didn't she get her like parliamentary credit card like shut off as well because she just kept like buying stuff without receipts on that one.
She kept buying FIFA packs.
It's fine, she can pull all this back. The big idea this week is to go away and ask a bunch of other people for ideas again. Because she can't stop asking what other people think, despite never getting an answer that makes any fucking sense. This time...
Didn't she, like, 2 weeks ago, write to all the regulators saying, do you have some ideas for growth and how to do yourself out of a fucking job?
I'll go on to regulators in a minute. Tomorrow, she's going to ask investment bankers and asset managers for ideas.
Oh, but that's... we just...
Imagine...
That's the only thing we've been doing for the last 30 years. Christ alive.
Imagine being one Ian Dunt who thought that these were titans of politics who had all these ideas that they wanted to implement, but the likes of Jeremy Corbyn had kept them at bay and kept them away from bringing the Labour Party into power to
the best ideas
to change the things that need changing. And
fucking love that.
You win a thumping majority, like a literal dictatorial size majority, and your ideas range from that sounds like a great idea. Thank you for these Taylor Swift tickets, and crackdowns and something that I'm not allowed to mention yet because Rob's going to talk about it later.
You've just reminded me about that fucking Femi tweet about Yvette Cooper and not giving her a cabinet position under Corbyn being like keeping Messi on the bench.
on the sideline. Yeah, that's what that was.
But to be fair, Femi was only born in 2016, so you can't hold that against him.
No, that's very true. For a bit of a 2008 reverie, Aberdeen, BlackRock, Citi, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley and Schroders are all meeting with Reeves this week to obviously tell her that she's shit, and if she doesn't want to be shit, then she should get rid of like all financial regulation, because that's all these people fucking want, obviously.
Yeah.
This is alongside the backdrop of getting rid of all the regulations. So she's now ordered an audit of 130 regulators. And those 130 are not just financial, they are also in things like fisheries and
food, the environment,
and food and drinking water.
We're finally gonna do away with the DEI initiative of training employees to recognise that receiving a pen is a corrupting influence. And finally,
it's
by
actually.
accident, a good idea.
It's nothing to do with that, actually. It's more.
Oh well, they could have had a good idea, but
yeah, no. It's we need to make sure that water isn't woke. So to do that, we need to take all the regulations out of what we drink or some shit. I don't fucking know. This is off the back of which I didn't know about. From the FT, Reeves and Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer wrote to the 17 most powerful regulators on Christmas Eve, demanding to know what they were doing to promote growth.
Jesus Christ! Like what?
I love this strong government that does things.
Why would you do any of that? Unfucking believable! Like.
Yeah. Telling the World Economic Forum in Davos last month, Reeves said that having so many regulators, quote, adds to the overlapping burdens that businesses face, and said that every watchdog had, quote, a part to play in tearing down the regulatory barriers that hold back growth.
Oh my God.
The regulators need to stop regulating.
That's not... Oh, for Christ.
Bank bosses at last week's meeting said the atmosphere was, quote, very positive.
You know what you get when you have like no regulators and you just like let business go hog wild, and you know the government is like actively encouraging this shit. You get fucking... No, you get Milei doing the fucking rug pull of his own nation and like millions of dollars disappear. Like...
Do you want Elon Musk's? Because this is how you get Elon Musk's.
Well, clearly that is what they want. That's like the really fucking worrying thing about all this.
That's why fucking whichever dipshit it was supposedly started their own Doge department in like the fucking Ministry of some shit or other.
Oh, there was
the Ministry of Brewdog.
That was Yvette Cooper.
Yeah, like that fucking like cunt as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But speaking of promoting growth and Elon Musk, right? The rumor is, right?
His fucked up dick.
Yeah, rumor is he tried to get a fucking dick implant and it went wrong. And the source I'm citing for this is that Azalea Banks says Grimes told her it's true. So you know what I mean? That's an authoritative standard of journalism as far as I'm concerned. We're not too good to do rumours. We're not better than Fleetwood Mac.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Azalea Banks did speak to a primary source, which is more than can be said for a lot of journalists.
That's true. She named a source. A lot of journalists would have just said an anonymous source in the fucking
Azalea Banks says an anonymous source
universe.
told her.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, he is, if anyone on this earth was ever the kind of person to do it, Elon Musk is definitely the man who would try to get Wi-Fi in his dongle. Like, do you know what I mean? He went to a doctor and he asked for the penis from Deus Ex and they just fucked him up. Do you know what I mean? I'm 100% convinced of this. It's absolutely true.
Savage.
Just desperately cramming AAA batteries in there, thinking it's an upgrade cell. Yeah, like.
Yeah. Difference is that he
Whatever.
did ask
I'm
for
having fun with it. Yeah. Also, I wanted to briefly talk about a couple of follow-up bits from previous podcasts we've done. There's one that's delightful and the other one that's quite shitty. Okay. The one that I thought we should start with some good news for a change. Specifically for David, the Supreme Court has told Rachel Reeves that her formal intervention regarding that, commissions and payments for more expensive car loans that we've talked about on previous podcast was not needed, and she can go fuck, which is very, very good.
Nice.
Fucking sniff me.
Yeah. Now, basically what this is like it's a case in front of the UK Supreme Court, and what you can do before the case is like formally adjudicated. It's like you can apply to be heard. Like you can write, I, Rachel Reeves, representing the Treasury and the UK state, like we have an important voice to be heard, and we want to we can contribute to this lawsuit. And then the Supreme Court has to decide whether or not like you actually have something to contribute to this conversation. And the Supreme Court decided that they didn't.
There's no way that Rachel Reeves could have anything to contribute to this.
Well, what she wanted to contribute, which was like leaked quite broadly beforehand, was that she wanted to intervene in favor of like car finance banks and various associated scumbag companies.
Yeah, the worst fucking prick that you can imagine. She's the one that she wants to intervene on their fucking behalf.
But actually, she wanted to intervene on their behalf, second order on your behalf. This is from The Guardian. The Chancellor was forced to deny that she had caved into lobbying by the financial sector or that she was working against consumer interests. Quote Rachel Reeves, "There is nothing pro-consumer about making it harder for people to buy an affordable car for their family. That would be bad for working families."
I don't want to buy another car. I want free fucking money.
Can I just say as well, like, get fucked with this talk of working families? Like, what is everyone sending their fucking kids down pit now? Are they? Is that what it is? Like, fuck. Oh, it's a working family. Working family. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I mean, that's the great. I mean, they've been doing that since day one. It was
get
working
your dog,
people before.
Get your dog on a fucking treadmill to power a Bitcoin mine. The fucking freeloader has had it too good for too long.
On the plus side, though, it'll go at the clappers with a whistle that you're constantly blasting.
Yeah, I mean, various papers did like compare, like if this judgment stands that's been previously made, that like the car industry and the car finance industry and the car dealers have basically been like conspiring to screw you over to the tunes of like, I don't know, individually probably £1,000 or more, who knows?
Well more,
but like, it would probably be like in comparison to like the PPI, like paybacks, that, which was also very expensive. So yeah. Rachel Reeves' logic is, well, if you make that more expensive, and like these car loan companies, because of their predatory fucking behavior, have to pay back some money, that would make the next car loan more expensive. Therefore, we should never do anything, which is incredible logic.
Yeah, we can only do things in an economy if every single step of doing that thing is as extractive and just awful to deal with as possible, and to try to reduce any of that awfulness or extractiveness would be anathema to all that is British. So yeah, we have to keep overcharging people for their cars.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. But at least, look, the case is not adjudicated, so like we don't know what the end result will be. We'll get that when we get that. But this is at least very funny. The bad one that I also unfortunately have to talk about is Thames Water will still not be fucking nationalised or placed in special administration, because today the High Court, or yesterday I think, the High Court gave permission for the company to restructure itself and also the £19 billion worth of debt is currently accumulated.
Knock a couple more blocks out the Jenga, it will last.
Yeah.
Well, that's literally what they're proposing to do.
Yeah, here's $3 billion. £3 billion even to give out in fucking dividends still. go nuts.
Yeah, I mean that was what this case was about. So like the company is like dead. It's on its ass, right? And like without this. Had this verdict not gone this way, I think we would have like seen it in special administration within days, essentially. Because like the thing that they're getting now is like essentially a bridge loan until probably like, I don't know, third quarter, maybe fourth quarter of this year, and when they run out of money again.
Will it last that long?
Oh, I mean, the idea is like they need $3 billion not to like invest in plant or anything. Is they will need $3 billion to like keep the company running and pay back like debts that are due in the meantime while they restructure the 19 billion debt load. But this £3 billion comes at an interest rate of almost 10%, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah, and interest rates like this are why businesses are the best people to do any managing infrastructure and building new infrastructure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is a bit from the Financial Times. Even if the £3 billion is granted, which it just has been, there is no guarantee new equity investment will be secured. The CFO told the court that he expects the Thames Water's total interest bill to reach £800 to £900 million next year, including the new loan costs, and its bill for restructuring and lawyers and advisors could top £200 million.
I wonder where that other like 1.9 billion is going to go.
Yeah. How come we're allowed to have a water company, an actual, like, essential utility company run like this, but the government's not allowed to?
Not only that, David, but, like, it's a natural monopoly that you inherited from the state, and you are fucking going out of business every single day.
You are selling
You're
shit
hemorrhaging
that
money.
literally falls from the sky.
On a literal monopoly.
Free. Oh.
I remember, Alistair, because we talked about this like a long time ago. They didn't just get it for free from the government. When they got it, the government wiped all the debts from the water company's books and gave them like a bag of gold along with the privatization. It's madness.
Oh, yeah. Whoops! All of this money that is coming in the form of water bills every year, it just keeps ending up in all these fucking burlap sacks marked fucking dividends.
Can we do a job swap? Can the CFO of Thames Water just become the Chancellor and vice versa?
Well, I mean, you just wait till this government's out of office, David, and we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, the other option is, of course, like, and this is what they're currently aiming for. That's good. Option one. I can offer you door number two is why don't you simply pay even more than the water prices are already going to rise over the next 5 years?
Because it would be cheaper to. There's an app where you can.
That's fuck's sake. Are we at a tipping point now where it is cheaper for me to replace all of the liquid in my life with Pepsi Max?
No, what Thames Water is currently saying that, like, even though all four
the water tank of the toilet with Pepsi Max.
Pepsi's on the boycott list, though, so you shouldn't do that.
Oh, is it? Guess I'll fucking die then.
Skeleton juice.
That's also on the fucking list.
Rip David cried all the Pepsi Max out of his body.
Just an instantly dry husk, like the end of fucking Indiana Jones.
No, so like a couple of weeks ago, Ofwat already decided that like water companies were allowed to raise bills.
It wasn't the Ron Grail that did that to him. It just, you know what I mean? The cup he picked up just had Mountain Dew in it.
that like undead night going, the simple can of the poster he chose correctly. No, so like Ofwat has already like agreed that water companies can raise bills in the next 5 years by 35% to, do all that essential maintenance that they're really honestly pinky promise going to do this time. But Thames Water is currently appealing that decision because they say, well, we need a 53% minimum rise in fucking bills to cover our financial shenanigans.
Yeah, I mean, I know this is just going to repeatedly get cut, but do you know what I mean? Like, there's no other rational fucking response because, like, the government gave them like a fucking essential industry, and like you say, with like a huge fucking like dividend on top of that, and it's like there's not even allowed to be any competition. It was like in each region there's one water company that you have to use, and they're allowed to do what they fucking well like, and none of them have spent any money on maintenance or like fucking infrastructure or anything, and it's all gone to shit, and they just keep making out like bandits. And in any normal fucking country on earth with people who weren't like complete fucks, we'd have long ago for this sort of shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or at least like politely, administratively, just like yanked it away from them, because clearly these people cannot be trusted with their fucking toys. Like
any normal
do you know what I mean?
country, any normal country would not have fucking privatised them in the first place. But anyone
exactly,
that found itself in this fucking state would renationalise them without compensation.
Yeah, like a normal fucking populace that weren't all just like, you know what I mean, obsessed with like small boats or whatever, would have just regime changed themselves over this. Like
even the Financial Times, mind you, put out an editorial last week saying, no, even we've had enough. This shit needs to be nationalized, like, and cleared up. Then they went on to say and put back on the market for, a good private thing. But like, when even the Financial Times,
they're on the fucking list as well, then.
Yeah, but like even when like the capitalist
I'm going to build
newspaper,
such a throne of skulls one day. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to open the IKEA of skulls.
Flat back thrones for all.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Rob. I'm disturbing your delightful in-ear entertainment to tell you that we have a Patreon at patreon.com/praxiscast. You can go there for more episodes, our Discord, bonus clips, and much, much more. This is also me begging you for your money in exchange for goods and services. Thank you. Oh, very well then. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Get ourselves some snacks. Bye. So for tonight's main topic, I wanted to do, unusually for us, a bit of foreign policy, but which will then, slowly drag its way back to Britain towards the tail end. And it's essentially because I've been hearing now, or we've all been hearing for the last week or two, about how we must essentially spend all the UK's remaining poons on guns and bombs and death, because if I believe George Monbiot, which you never should,
converting the entirety of Britain's GDP into brass.
Yes. Which you could also make a throne out of, or colours, or something along those lines.
Use your imagination.
No, because George Monbiot assured me that Putin could already be in Essex or Kent, so we have to spend money on all the guns and the
yeah
he's fucking welcome to it.
Yeah. So this patter of we need to spend more on defense, got sort of a big upgrade obviously this week, because the new American president announced that he'd started to talking to Russia, about doing a deal involving Ukraine, and specifically the amount of territory it's allowed to keep,
and the amount of mineral rights that America's allowed to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trump
Why would Joe Biden do this?
Trump, though, in his own way, posts about it on his own that stupid Truth Social thing that he has. I just wanted to quote one bit of it because it's just, the man, he has impeccable verbiage, if nothing else. President Putin even used my very strong campaign motto of common sense in all caps.
Was that his campaign motto?
He invented that.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes.
Must have passed me by.
Keir Starmer wants a word with himself using MAGA terms.
Yeah. I mean, as far as I understand it, and with fucking Donald Trump and, the Russians talking, who the hell knows, but I think the essential deal is they would get to keep Crimea, and a lot of the Russians would get to keep that, and as well as quite a bit of the Donbass. And I'm not in favor of conquest of territory by armed force. Let me say that, very strongly up front. But it's just
depends on the territory, honestly. If someone wanted to do England, I wouldn't stand in the way.
Yeah, again, has anyone considered actually offering him Essex and Kent?
Yeah.
But like, I don't feel great about that, right? And I feel that mainly the Ukrainian people, the people of the Donbass, should, in like, you know, a supervised, open and honest election process, sort of decide who and where they want to belong to. Like that, you know, I think nations are fucking stupid anyway, but it should mainly be like the people who live there should get to decide where they belong. And
that sounds like an affront to liberalism, that, Rob.
But this is what I mean. Like, because I mentioned fucking. I mentioned like the George Monbiot teeing off about like Vladimir Putin being in Kent, but I'm like, unless you're going to commit to like sending Ukraine infinity bombs forever, and probably at some point also troops, because as far as I understand it, like the Ukrainian population doesn't really want to do much more war, and they have like trouble recruiting people, which I understand.
Is literally a thing that exists.
Yeah. But like my question to like all these fucking, you know, brave liberals sitting, you know, behind their fucking keyboards in London, but how else did you think this was going to end? Like,
they genuinely thought that like Joe Biden and or Kamala Harris would win the election, and then it would just be infinite bombs forever.
Yeah, I mean, like liberals are convinced that like the only wars that have happened in the last, you know, 100 years are just the 2 world wars, which are kind of very unusual in that they were wars that were fought to like the complete, the total defeat of an obviously bad enemy.
One of the two. Yeah.
When fucking the vast majority of armed conflicts throughout history have ended in some kind of settled like negotiation.
Yeah. Like a stalemate or a settlement on top of a pile of dead soldiers, essentially. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I never understand what these people like, because my estimation of the whole Ukraine thing is that like America was never like, and the West and NATO and whoever you want to lump into this, like the people running the show were never honestly interested in like throwing the Russians out of Crimea. What they wanted to do was create Afghanistan number 2 and just like have the Russian Federation bleed itself to death.
Yeah.
You know, somewhere in eastern Ukraine. That always, to me, that seemed to be fairly obviously the goal. But I'm like,
I mean, some of them.
So we've done that for 3 years.
Some of them quite clearly believed that, like, you know, plucky little Ukraine could invade and conquer Russia. Not looking at any particular Paul Masons in the room.
Doing land invasions of like the Russian land mass is always famously ended well for all generals that have attempted it.
Yeah.
So, in exchange for obviously like what's going to be some kind of peace deal, we already mentioned it. He's insisted that he wants all the rare earth minerals. Apparently, the Telegraph got their hands on like a copy of the proposed agreement, which is drawn up by some private law firm as well, like not by the U.S. State Department.
Oh, it's fucking incredible.
I mean, there isn't a U.S. State Department anymore. Elon Musk.
Yeah. Turns out the US State Department wasn't like full of monsters, but 90% people who just told each other their pen was woke or something. I don't fucking know anymore.
That's honestly, that's something we should mention if we're doing a news roundup. Is that fucking incredible fucking tweet from Doge where they were like, "This is just some of the woke shit that like fucking the you know what I mean, the State Department was paying for."
It's just a list of fucking CIA projects.
Yes, it's fucking amazing. It was so
We're fostering synergy in Eastern Serbia. Okay.
Yeah,
it was incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Funding for entrepreneurs in Cambodia. What the fuck's that about?
Yeah. Yeah, for the entrepreneurial spirit. It was something instilling entrepreneurial mindset. It was just like, no, you're just like, you want to create a cadre of petit bourgeois to just like underpin your political project. It's fine, but we can just say that now.
Yeah. We're going to hear a lot less about China's crimes in the upcoming years, aren't we?
Well, exactly, because like we will no longer have Shen Yun, the communism, the China before communism ballet to tell me all about it, or like those weird outlets that like are like 50% Moonies and 50% the CIA.
Yeah.
No. So apparently the deal on offer that is like the Americans would get 50% of all the money of any sale of resources that Ukraine or Ukrainian companies do with anyone.
What a fucking bargain!
Like the 50. Yeah. Sorry, I'm saying that wrong. They would have to sell 50% of their stuff to America, and then any deals they did with anybody else, the Americans would also get 50% of that money through a joint investment fund, which would be privately managed. And I'm like, yeah, you remember when the Republicans got really mad because Joe Biden's idiot son got I don't know, 3 diamonds and a bag of cash from some Ukrainian prick.
Yeah, but he was woke, so.
Thank God that Joe Biden waited for president deals to do this. It's
to
really
sort this one out. Yeah,
good job there. Well done.
But I mean,
at least
it was inevitable, wasn't it? It's not as if the Liberals were going to learn a lesson from history.
No.
I think, according to the Telegraph, the total value of this rare earth mineral deal will be about $500 billion to be paid back to the US for all previous guns and bombs and other, humanitarian assistance that was said before, which, at least according to the Telegraph, will be a higher percentage of GDP payments than Germany paid in reparations after Versailles.
I saw this as well, which is fucking hilarious because what I wonder if there were any ramifications for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I wonder if there's a nascent...
we'll never know. We'll never know because that was history. So
yeah,
and there's nothing to learn from history.
No.
I wonder, Alistair, if there's any nascent Nazi movement already in Ukraine that could feed on a stab in the back legend to create its own very right wing, very fascist kind of government that would come back to bite everybody in the ass.
Don't think so.
Can't think of anything.
No, it doesn't sound right.
But of course, Zelensky did immediately come out and say, "Yeah, we'll do big deal for all these minerals and shit." But the problem is that a lot of them are underneath where the Russians are sitting right now. So what if America first helped us go and get them, and then afterwards you can have the minerals?
Yeah, I imagine that went down well.
Yeah, so all the liberals are in shock, are oh my God, how could Donald Trump do this? How could he betray the noble Ukrainian people?
Yeah,
how
could he expose American imperialism for what it really is?
How could Donald Trump do what America always does, which is to take a nominal ally, exploit them for their own ends against a proxy enemy, in a proxy against an enemy nation like Russia or whatever, and then when their usefulness expires, they just leave them high and dry and tell them to go get fucked.
Yeah, or literally when they just get bored or when it's not important anymore. Fucking... It's not like Joe Biden has form in Afghanistan or anything where he's just nah, I'm bored now, see ya. I thought getting out of Afghanistan was probably one of the single best things that Joe Biden ever did in his stupid fucking term in office, but the thing that the libs just seem to object to, which is it's the same thing with wanting to turn fucking Gaza into the Vegas Strip of Israel or whatever the fuck that idiot plan is. It's just no, you're not mad. The only thing the libs are mad at is that the dressing up isn't as nice.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no.
I mean, domestically, Trump is probably a bit moderately worse than Joe Biden, but internationally, what is the substantive difference between? I mean,
it's just words. There's just more words. There's just more dress up.
See what you like about the Treaty of Versailles, but it's a very nice palace.
It is gaudy as fuck, though. It's a very Trump kind of place. I will say that. But yeah, all of this has caught the EU and UK fully by surprise because they really thought that Big Weapon Dad would essentially be around forever to just infinitely send all the guns and the bombs. And, now they may have to do it themselves. And as we, have explored over many episodes now, it's not like anybody's ready or really willing to, turn up and like put boots on the ground in Ukraine or anything.
Yeah, but what if we could have big weapons stepdad and Keir Starmer?
Yeah, well, I want to like just get there in a moment. So the idea now is that like if there is some kind of agreement, brokered between the Americans and the Russians, and Zelensky may be let into the room so that like they could pull his pants down and laugh at him together, but like the idea is sort of like the Russians get to keep a lot of eastern Ukraine and Crimea. The Ukrainians get to keep whatever, the western part and whatever else is left. And in between those two places, there would be like a big demilitarized zone. And then, the UK and France, would be the peacekeepers. They would sit on the border and just kind of be there, essentially.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, I mean...
quote the Telegraph.
I look forward to like British troops being put on the ground in Ukraine and trying to fend off anything resembling like a modern military. It sounds like it's going to end well.
Yeah, I mean, like according to the Telegraph, at least, quote, analysts believe tens of thousands of troops would be needed, not to mention a vast logistical support to support them. So
Oh yeah, that logistical
not
capacity that Britain is famed for in 2025. Yeah. Post austerity, we have so much infrastructure. We're just looking for things to do, people to put somewhere, things to move around.
Yeah. So, like, if the UK and specifically this fucking Starmer government, because like it hasn't escaped my notice that like as the polls keep fucking sliding their way downwards for Keir Starmer, the more he spends time abroad playing the big dick statesman, because that's all UK prime ministers do this over time. He's just speed running it.
This is so all they ever wanted, though. They wanted to sit in the big chair and make big pronouncements on fucking behind a lectern on BBC News at like 6:30 or whatever in the evening. And like, yeah, here you go. Go fucking deal with like that state that your own party helped set up in this exact way. So good fucking luck.
Yeah, so now because we're having cut ourselves off very effectively from Europe and the European Union, and we can't be seen to be doing too much with European countries in general, in case Nigel Farage accuses you of betraying and so on and so forth. But also on the other side, like the Trump administration thinks that Keir Starmer is essentially like a Maoist or something. They're kind of stuck in the fucking middle, But don't worry about it. Starmer is here, quote or at least this was leaked to the Times, to seize the initiative. So what we're going to do is like fly to America and then talk to President Deals, and then the UK will be the bridge between Europe and America again, or as we pretend we've always been.
I mean, it is very funny.
I think honestly, we'd be more respectable as a nation if we actually tried to build a bridge to America.
It is very funny seeing in real time the ramifications of outsourcing all of your geopolitical positions to the United States, like over the last 15 years, and the effects that has when the dying empire that you have outsourced all of your political instincts to just starts fucking flailing around doing shit that you nominally wouldn't want to happen, like meeting up with Vladimir Putin and making noises about giving them land, and you're caught in this crisis of conscience, or crisis of identity rather, about just how committed you are to licking the boots of again a dying empire.
Well, also how much choice you have left.
Yeah.
And also we had the first Trump term in 2016. It's 9 years later now. Did the UK establishment and the UK state learn anything about how dangerous it was to just fully rely on American superpowers forever and ever until the end of recorded time?
I mean,
of course you fucking didn't.
Even the EU, was it Angela Merkel even who was saying that Europe was essentially on their own? I know that was probably just a fucking soundbite, But at the same time,
but
that is
wrong,
more
you know,
than anything the fucking Atlanticists in the Labour Party have ever said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing is, apart from that, we're going to pretend that we still matter diplomatically, which, you know, clearly, like, we fucking don't.
No.
So the other thing is we're going to need to, like, buy more guns. We're going to need to buy more guns for ourselves. We're going to need to buy more guns for Ukraine, because remember, Starbucks signed a 100-year treaty of, I don't know, friendship through armaments or whatever the fuck that was.
100 years, Gungeon.
You know, and we're going to have to, like, up the amount of money that we spend on the guns, because otherwise, like, the Americans want us to, and I think they are correct that, like, if you don't raise the military budget, Trump will just tell you to fuck off and sort your shit first, you know. But still, like, we to get to the American, apparently the Americans want to see like a 5% of GDP spending
Fucking hell.
on guns and bombs and defense. It's like 2.3% now, so we would have to, like, more than double the fucking budget we have for defense at the moment.
Why?
I mean, what the fuck are we going to spend that on?
Yeah, well, that's another very good question. Like, you know, because this podcast being somewhat familiar with, you know, defense procurement and
the Ajax 2.
Well,
Ajax for everyone.
The stupid fucking submarines, the communication system that doesn't work. You know, like, everything is just because we don't do anything ourselves. We just, like, get Lockheed Martin to just do horrendous, horrible shit.
Bill us through the nose to develop the stupidest tank you've ever heard of. That's, like, refuses to even call itself a tank.
Yeah, and is delivered like 15 years late. But, you know, it is, of course, now still, it is time for the Liberals to do the thing they really love at the end of the day, especially when things are going to shit at home, which they are, which is dress up as fucking troops, talk about guns, talk about their big metal penises, you know, and just...
Is this the return of muscular liberalism?
Yes, we are once again returning to the good old days of muscular liberalism.
Emmanuel Macron is going to get fucking shredded. It's going to be great.
Well, I mean, he's the other, like, massively unpopular guy at home who, suddenly, you know, discovered a massive hard-on for military conflict, because him and Starmer seems to be the only people who are actually, like, at least claiming they're serious about being the ones to send peacekeepers, quote unquote, to the fucking Russian-Ukrainian border.
Which isn't going to happen. Like, no peace deal. No. Because any peace deal will be one that's in favour of Russia, obviously. Like, will be agreed to have fucking NATO troops on the Russian border. That's not happening.
No, and also, like, I just before we started recording, I saw the Russian foreign minister already, like, doing a press conference and saying, no, we will never, ever fucking accept, you know, American... I mean, the Americans aren't going anyway, so, like, you can scratch that off the list. So, like, you know, the English or the Germans or the Dutch or the French, like, nobody with a NATO flag or a European flag will ever, like, serve on our border. That's simply not on the cards. And I'm like... Yeah, because they've always said that. That's part of the reason this fucking war started in the first place. You know, like.
I mean, what exactly are these peacekeepers intending to do anyway? Because, like, I don't think
peacekeep.
I don't
sit there and glare.
Yeah, I don't think any Western nation, like, you know, like Western Europe, is really prepared to get into, like, an actual shooting war as much as they love to rattle their sabers with fucking Russia. Like, it's just complete insanity.
Even with all the fucking attrition that Russia has suffered through this war, like, because they have, you can't not go this far into a war and not suffer fucking attrition. It doesn't matter, because they will 100% rebuild their forces way the fuck quicker than we will initially actually build ours, because the army is, like, the smallest it's been since the 1700s or some shit at the minute. Like, we do not have a fucking candle to hold against a country like Russia militarily, so there's no fucking point in trying, especially when you're talking about doing shit elsewhere. Like, Just train a defence force, fuck the army off, have a defence force, that's all you need. If everybody did that, there wouldn't be any fucking problems.
Well, like, what the fuck are you going to do? Like, when some fucking Russian private just gets, like, half cut on his vodka ration and decides to, like, stage a small shooting incident, and you've got 3, dead troops rolling back home through Royal Wootton Bassett. Are you gonna, like, fucking shoot at some Russians?
It wouldn't go that far, though, Rob. We wouldn't make it back to fucking Wootton Bassett, because that's immediately World War III.
Yeah. Because it would have to be. Because otherwise, like, But of course, none of this is being thought through whatsoever. To show off what a big boy is and how big his fucking shiny metal penis is. This weekend, Starmer got an exclusive opinion piece in the Telegraph, of course, behind the paywall, because that's where you announce these fucking things. I won't read it for you because it's very dull. Blah blah blah. The manner and form of the US is maybe uncouth, but fundamentally they are right. We should be spending more on, death and guns and bombs. And the UK will, quote, play a leading role, which, and this is the quote from the article, also means being ready and willing to contribute to security guarantees to Ukraine by putting our troops on the ground if necessary.
Just completely insane. Just utterly deranged.
Why is Britain always a leading force in the worst shit you can think of? Starting World War III, doing AI more. Like, fuck off. Have an idea that's not shit.
Just imagine, like, a conflict so shit that, like, the Americans don't want any part of, sending their guys, and then Britain goes, "Don't worry, sir, we've got it. We're in there. Bye."
Britain says, "Watch this," chugs a beer, and just smashes his head directly into the nearest brick wall.
Volunteering for the fucking geopolitical Charlie work.
Geopolitical Charlie work.
But this is the bit where, like, I wanted to turn a bit more back to the UK, which part of the reason I want to talk about this, because if we're going to spend somewhere between 0.25% more on guns and bombs, or we double it, or there's a figure somewhere in between, that would cost a whole bunch of money. And given that there are, ironclad fiscal rules and discipline and blah, 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 what you would get is the following. This is from a piece on Bloomberg over the weekend. Quote, some UK government departments are bracing for budget cuts of up to 11% as Prime Minister Keir Starmer comes under mounting pressure to plough more money into defence. 11%. I mean, look, the article goes on to say that, like, because that's the first paragraph, so they lead with the big number. Yep. But, like, in the article, it mentions that, like, it would be a cut somewhere between 5 and 11%. But that is fucking insane.
Why don't we, say, okay, you can have that money, but you need to defund the Home Office?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still don't want it to go to, like... Because military spending is always stupid and shit.
Yeah, but
and it's like the thing that does the least, but...
Getting rid of the Home Office can only be a good thing. And it might get us something even stupider than the Ajax out of it. So, win-win.
Yeah, that's true. It will be good. It will be good for the content. That's entirely correct, yeah. But, like... But yeah, because we have all these ironclad...
It's also inexplicably a hovercraft.
Yeah, the NAO gonna pop off when they see this.
But yeah, because we have these ironclad fiscal rules, if we want more bombs, we're really gonna have to, like, cut elsewhere, because that's the only way. Because, like, we're not raising taxes, etc., etc. Well, I mean, Rachel Reeves doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, and we can't print more money. That would be ridiculous. We can't do that. Because we did that already. You can only do it once.
A cut in all government departments between 5 and 11% isn't quite true, because there are a few areas, including the NHS, that are, ring-fenced. So, like, we're not taking money out of those departments. Like, that's pretty clear. So, instead, the cuts would come, and this again from Bloomberg, those at risk include local government, culture, justice, the Home Office, environment, energy, work and pensions, the creative industries, court services, police, bin collections, and the environmental agencies.
Right, okay. Yeah, so, we'll kill more disabled people, so we can
kill more everyone.
So we can kill more everyone, yeah.
It's like, the bits that, like, most people actually ever engage with in their lives with regards to government. Like, most directly, it's all local government, which is already, like, hemorrhaging money. We've talked about this before. There's so many going bankrupt. What if you wanted to go to a museum or, like, God forbid, had to go to fucking court or something? Or there's a park near you.
Don't go to court.
Or,
yeah, just simply don't.
Or it's the fucking bins again. They're literally talking. Like, I know it's fucking old hat at this point, but
I know.
Never more quoth the bin man.
I know they're absolutely determined with a bunch of their other policies to shoot them in the foot, but like the real coup de grace here is fucking with the bins. That is true political suicide in the most British way that is possible to commit.
Spectacular, yeah.
It's wild that we're going to go to full fascism in no time at all because someone said defund the bins.
That's all right, though. We can just get everyone out twice a week to clap for the bin man.
I would stand outside and clap for the fucking bin men. They've earned it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
not
like
twice
also,
a week, obviously, because
also,
I've got better things to do.
Also, please pay the bin men, but I would clap for the bin men.
Yeah, but like, and I can't stress this enough to further eliminate and like make a gaping, smoking crater out of the fabric of the UK. The purpose of which is to buy guns. But David, if you have the drop, there is a way to sell this properly, and we saw it on the news, I think, yesterday.
If there is an extra tax on something to pay for defence, I think it should be called the freedom tax. Because what this week shows is that you only have freedom of action in this world if you have armed force.
Man, all that spice is really taken out of his voice, isn't it?
Yeah.
He should just stick to and over social media.
Oh.
No, like, look, he's still an irrelevant cunt, but his reinvention, because, like, he's literally employed by, it's like, I don't know, the Council on Cunt-Friendly Bombs or something or other. I can't remember what it's actually called, but he's just fucking out there shilling for fucking arms companies.
Yeah, working class defense. It's the same. It's not the same thing, Rob.
Well, I mean, but that's his entire shtick now, right? It's like, we need to build up a big arms industry because that will employ loads of British workers, and if they're all unionized, then they'll have a big union salary to build all the Ajaxes, and it is in that way that we will create socialism in the UK. Which is stupid, and like he's talking about fucking Ernest Bevin again. It's just such a fucking prick. But I wish he wasn't the only one, because they are all fucking at it. All the liberals, all your fave columnists, everybody who's ever been on, the rest is politics, are all just like chomping at the bit to fucking buy guns, sell guns, be published with guns, have their picture taken. This is for
have the Lib Dems got a giant gun?
Yeah, well, they want to. This is Ed Davey, the leader of the Liberal Democrat Party, posting
he's not a giant gun, he's a massive weapon.
on X.com, the Everything app. In principle, there should be a vote in Parliament when troops are deployed. I am confident all sides of the House are likely to agree with the Prime Minister. I should, say again, in terms of deploying armed British forces to the Ukrainian-Russian border, wherever the fuck it ends up being. But that's not the best bit. The best bit was the finish line of that bit. Apart from those Trump bootlickers in reform.
Yeah, they want to do defence spending, but bad.
What is the perceptible difference in bootlicking between Labour and Reform? Literally,
I don't know.
What was that freak they sent to Trump's inauguration? Like from Labour, there was some fucking guy there.
Oh, Maurice Glassman.
Yeah,
that's
that
a
prick.
blue Labour. He's a fucking frick. I mean, they didn't send him. He got invited. It's not quite the same thing, but yeah.
Well, he went on a plane, didn't he?
The difference is the fucking... It's the same shit that they always do, though. The Liberals will do it with a sad face.
Yeah, that's right. Like, Farage is like fucking, do you know what I mean, licking Trump's boots because he wants to. Keir Starmer's doing it because it's sensible.
But also, like, you know, not in defense of Farage, but like in the way that, like, I'm just like, I sort of get why people vote for that shit sometimes. At least he seems to be enjoying being a cunt. You know, instead of this buttoned up bullshit that, like, Labour is like, oh, we have to.
He actually has some sort of fucking principles is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, the principles are shit, but like...
Yeah, they're awful, but... So, yeah, so this wasn't the only Lib Dem, but I know we're doing Lib Dem shit, but, like, just for a moment, just to bear with it. You know, they got on interview...
have a little update, see what they're up to, you know?
Yeah. They got on an interview with another MP, a guy called Mike Martin, who was elected in somewhere, I think, something home counties.
Yeah. I read this
who's a former soldier, who, in an interview with The Big Issue, first said, well, he speculated that Britain would likely be at war before 2030 in the next general election, and said that this would probably involve conscription.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll go down great.
He was, of course, another fucking, you know, muscular liberal dickhead, but the reason I want to mention this is really because he... the Big Issue was sort of portraying him as this, like, big thinker on you know, on the global stage, which he's not. He's just a fucking little freak. But it ends with him doing several paragraphs of essentially future James Bond plots. Including, and this is a quote from the article, I can equally, I being Mike Martin, the MP, I can equally do a James Bond plot set in America with everything going on in America, and it's kind of a dark one, but you can see a British spy trying to save America from itself.
Oh my God. Normally they put these fucking horrendous fan fictions about the present reality we live in like massive newspaper columns. So like at least he's shortened it for us on this occasion.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of, you know, fucking leaders of Britain, Boris Johnson, of course, also popped up to say, yeah, I think it's a fucking great idea if we sent more guns and bombs and death to, you know, the UK. It's incredible. And I'm going to try not to do bits again, but I do want to read a little bit because there was another handsome former general that popped up that had something very important to say about all this. Well, I mean, Ellen is not here, so I shall refrain. This is from The Guardian. Speaking to The Week in Westminster on BBC Radio 4, Richard Dannett, the former head of the UK Army, said, quote, unless Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves can look themselves in the mirror and look at their priorities and say, yes, health, education, roads, infrastructure are important, but actually defence and security of this nation are more important.
It's so important that we look after the shit pile that we all fucking live in.
the crossbench House of Lords sitting motherfucker, you know, probably, you know, extremely rich and wealthy of all the fucking gigs he got after being the head of the UK Armed Forces, is just like sitting there going, yeah, you know, fuck your roads, fuck your hospitals, why don't you buy some more guns instead? Like, just, you know... because he went on to say that Keir Starmer and Rachel Reeves should, quote, find ways of producing more money well beyond the 2.5% towards 3 or even 3.5% of our defence budget. So he's just like casually dropping in, increasing it by like 50%.
I love it when they're just like, oh yeah, we should increase defence spending by just a bigger number than I thought of, like a landlord.
It's fucking incredible. He he also mentioned, by the way, because that's another bugbear that we have done fucking previous episodes about, that, you know, Britain has a recruitment problem and he would like to see us going back up to 100,000 soldiers. We have like 70,000 odd at the moment. Well, 50,000 you could actually deploy, but we have 70,000 on paper.
Yeah, and remind me, those soldiers would live in Britain, right?
Yeah, them, yeah.
Yeah,
really well paid, very happy, you know, no reason to leave the armed forces, all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, and as we've learned, the Gen Zers are very, very rightly think that this country sucks and that they shouldn't be forced to fight in a war. I'm sure there won't be any, like, ramifications to a nation enlisting an entire generation of like people who have only ever been given the short end of the stick in every single possible way that is possible for a generation to be fucked.
Well, I mean, that's why that fucking...
I can only become so pro-conscription.
Well, I mean, that's why that little piss weasel from the Lib Dems was just like, oh yeah, we'll just do conscription again. Because, like, for some mysterious reason, you know, the UK hasn't really hit its recruitment numbers for over a decade. You know, mysterious reasons including we've given the whole thing to Capita and they've just, or Serco, I can't remember which one, and they've just, you know, drained all the money out of it and left us with, you know, a paper bag on that said there's some soldiers in here maybe. Like, of course not, because it's just like, it's shit. And in the meantime, you know, speaking of soldiers and soldiers' conditions, there was also, I skim Reddit, you know, if you really want to, you can. I don't recommend you do. There's this incredibly, like, deeply grim report out about what it's like to be female and a soldier in the UK Army. And, you know, the amount of misogyny, and it goes on from there. You know, it is exactly what you think it is. You know, like, yeah, of course we're not going to get to 100,000 soldiers. Why would they? But there is an alternative. This is from the Times. Delightful. Admiral Sir Ben Key, the head of the Navy, is understood not to have asked for more sailors in his submission for the current ongoing defence review, believing that in 20 to 30 years, destroyers and frigates will be autonomous.
Yes.
Incredible.
We take one step closer to making the universe of total annihilation a reality.
Yes.
Yeah. What if the Terminator, but like moist? Do you know what I mean? ooh, sky wet.
Yeah, those boats would go in the ocean, right?
It's like, this is what's going to happen if and I suspect they will, because it's, you know, it's the thing that fucking liberals and people who don't know, you know, who have realized that they are desperately unpopular, love nothing more, and that is just to do fucking guns and bombs. And it's, you know, this money will just be spent on drones, you know, picking targets led by OpenAI, or that fucking that Israeli thing that just does constant war crimes in Palestine. They'll just buy more Ajaxes, more fucking nuclear submarines that take 1,000 years to contribute and come in at, you know, 1,000% over budget all the time, endlessly. And the end result will be just like going back to the 1910s, to the era of great power competition. And, you know, the last time everybody put all their money into building bigger dreadnoughts, we did trench warfare and we killed an entire generation of fucking young men, and we destroyed several countries.
Right, okay, but have you considered that Britain doing autonomous destroyers and frigates is basically us doing Skynet, but it's got the safety protocols of a 1970s Dalek built in, and that you can just go on land and they can't get you?
At least until climate change.
Well, that's where I wanted to end this on, because I made this point earlier on Blue Sky, but like, look at the fucking incredible speed in which this fucking country's media political establishment falls into lockstep, everybody screaming at, you know, 1,000 decibels an hour to say, yes, of course we will spend more money on guns and bombs and fucking death by drone and piles of fucking corpses rotting in the Ukrainian ground if it ever gets that fucking far. Look at how fucking horny they are for that shit. Look at how quick they can't They can't fucking wait. Not for them to put on the camo, mind you, for other people. Because I saw fucking Ian Dale on Twitter saying, people are mad at me for all of this. And he said, I'm not joining the armed forces because I've got arthritis in one knee and I'm 62. So, like, you get to do the fucking dying. But look how fast they all fucking fall in line and can't wait to send, not them, not their kids, somebody else's kids, you off to die. How fucking fast they can find the money elsewhere by cutting the courts, cutting the parks, cutting your fucking council, just the fucking bins. Look at how fast it all goes overboard when it's about death and guns and proving how much of a manly man they are and how big their metal penis is. But, the second it's about the fucking climate, the second it's about the actual air you breathe, the water you fucking drink, the sky that's turning shit colors overnight. The weather pattern's becoming so unsustainable that the fucking agriculture doesn't work properly anymore. When the life of the actual fucking planet is on the line. Look at how hard it is. That's not sensible government. It's not, good to spend money on renewable energy or cutting emissions or, pulling the plug from the oil and gas industry or building HS2 or doing transport or doing any of the fucking things that we know how to work. No, that's gay and that's communism and you shouldn't allow it because it's not cool. Look at our big metal penis.
If the political will exists to do something, then it is possible. This is what we learn.
No, but only if you have an armed force.
Yeah.
And it's the political will of 300 maniacs that decide the fate of this country. Did you vote for this? Did you want this? Was your opinion asked? Was any of this, is this what you want? You out there, whoever's listening to this. Do you feel listened to?
I voted for staying in bed.
Do you feel listened to? Do you feel that the political establishment is responding to your priorities? It's so upsetting.
That shit sucks.
It's
on the plus side, though, we'll all be dead.
Just I hate Donald Trump. I hate this man. What he's doing also to America and the destruction of the state over there. It's not great. The American state is awful and shit and terrible, but, there are bits of it at work that do stuff for people. But at least he doesn't hide what he's doing when he's just, giving half the government for Elon Musk to fucking destroy. At least if you vote for Trump, at least you get the joy of someone, fucking destroying your enemy and making them suffer. What do we get?
It's the Farage thing. It's you're actually voting for something. You might be voting for hell on earth and the worst possible outcome for the most purest possible people, but you have voted for something. Unlike a vote for Labour, which is literally just, or even the Democrats, which is just a vote for sensibleness. Or whatever other vague fucking idea. Yeah, it's just dog shit. Even go back to that fucking poll. There is one party in that entire poll that has a positive net rating, and it's the Green Party, and it's +3.
Yeah. Just
what a functional system we have.
Planet's fucking dying, and all everybody can talk about is we'll do a bit more oil and gas, and we'll spend the money on guns and bombs, and just I find it genuinely hard. I can't. If you stare at this long enough and hard enough, and you think about it for too long, you go insane. And this is one of those moments where
But on the plus side, though, we've got comment to commentary.
There is that.
Oh.
We can hardly blame parents for drawing such conclusions. When schools closed so readily during lockdown and remained shut for so long, few were able to articulate why this was a problem for children's education. Almost overnight, we switched from telling children and their parents that every minute in the classroom mattered to telling them that missing several months in a row was not a big deal. Is that comment or commentariat?
Commentariat.
Yeah,
And also shut the fuck up.
Different things are different, but that is commentariat.
Yeah, that was Joanna Williams in the Times. Post-COVID, we need to say why school matters.
Rob's just spent now. Like Rob has cried all of the Pepsi Max out of his body.
I just well, you have to tell people why school matters. Unless
yeah, I went to school and it didn't matter. So checkmate liberals.
Unless of course, God forbid, the teachers are woke or let you be the gender that you want to be, or anything along those lines.
Yeah, we can't be having that. That would be silly.
How many packets of crisps would I have to eat for me to provide a sufficient barrier behind my radiator to reflect heat back into my room? A Walker's grab bag costs £1.25. 10, 20, 30, 40 empty bags plus double-sided tape. I'm a pensioner on a fixed salary. Get real. Is that comment or commentariat?
Is this in Viz?
Yeah, comment letter to Viz.
Yeah.
Why? This must be a response to something, but why would you eat the packet? No comment. I can't. No. I won't inquire further into the brain of this fucking man.
Comment in Viz.
That was a comment in the Express. The article was state pensioners urged to use bubble wrap to help replace £300 winter fuel payment.
Wow. I mean, that is also a fantastically stupid idea. So, also, bubble wrap is not the same thing as a crisp packet.
No, this was two different things.
It's
but
not
that
the
was
same
what
as
the headline was.
£300 either.
Yeah. No, you put bubble wrap on your windows and you tape crisp packets behind the radiator, and I'm just like,
oh yeah,
how much fucking space do you have behind your radiators that you can get down there to tape crisp packets in?
Yeah.
It's not the worst idea I saw. One of them was put a desk fan behind your radiator.
Yeah, no, that's check. Correct.
While no one disputes that those who incite violence deserve exemplary punishment, those who express controversial opinions which some find offensive should not be facing jail. Fresh law also makes it an offence to spread disinformation, which would have extended to anyone who, at the time, maintained the now widely accepted fact that COVID-19 leaked from a lab in Wuhan and not from a dodgy pangolin at a downtown wet market. Is that comment or commentariat?
This is commentariat. Yeah.
I may change my username to Dodgy Pangolin from Wuhan. That's good commentariat.
Yeah, that was Richard Littlejohn.
Do you know what? I thought that sounds like Little John, but I thought no, Jamie's gone off Little John lately. Fucking fake me out.
All right, last one. If you all get this right, it's I think the first ever 100% score on comment and commentariat. So
we'll be hooting and hollering and Wuhan and pangolin.
Yeah. For decades, Europeans have lavished hundreds of billions on welfare spending and sent the bill for their defence to US taxpayers. The European demand for more welfare remains as insatiable as ever. State spending in France is 57% of its GDP, with welfare spending the biggest beneficiary. Yet still there are cries for more. Yet Europe still lacks the capability to defend itself without American military might. Is that comment or commentariat?
Commentariat, I think.
Commentariat. Ooh, we have a split. We can't have a celebration now.
That was Andrew Neil in the Daily Mail.
Oh, you.
Who said comment?
I said
David,
comment.
David betrayed.
He
us.
started two sentences in a row with the word "yeah." I thought the commentariat were above that.
The stab in the back legend is David betraying us on the last round of comment or commentary.
Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
That's how you know David is truly
as well.
English.
Type of.
Well, Rip. The dreams of a perfect score like lie in fucking ruins.
It's fine. It gives us something to aim for. That's why I did it. Yeah. Okay. Episodes. You can get more episodes at praxiscast.com. Fuck you. Patreon.com/praxiscast.
You can get more episodes at motherfucker.com.
It's true. I won't spell it. You can get merch at praxiscast.gmail.com, and you can
.patreon.net.
Yeah. Linda LaPlante. You can also get streams. Streams are available on Sundays at around 6:30ish, depending on whether or not we start on time. And
come see Alistair slaughter defenseless puppies.
Yeah.
We love to game. Twitch.tv/praxiscast. But do
Alistair
join the
said,
Patreon.
and I quote, "There were too many mouths to feed," as he...
Sacrifices had to be made.
Oh, dear.
I don't think that's making it in.
No, probably not.
But yeah, do join the Patreon. We have bonus episodes. We have bonus content on the Discord. And obviously you get access to the Discord in which you can at Rob and tell him how much you hate the sexy voice.
You love
can
the sexy
also
voice.
listen. You can go into the bonus channel and you can listen to the bit we've just cut from this episode where Rob describes Alistair doing Krav Maga on a hound.
Yeah. And on that fun note, bye.
Yeah,
See ya.
Bye.